Now, that being said, let's talk about these teams.
Story time.
Story time with Clutch. Here we go. Refuse to Die is in 6th place. Last week was their first loss ever on Abbey to Bernal Empires. Now they face FNATIC, the first place team in their division. When it rains, it pours. If they win, they rise to 4th place. If they lose, they stay at 6th place. Let's talk about their opponents, FNATIC. Last week, FNATIC experienced their first ever tiebreaker in their career, at least when it came to group play. And what did FNATIC say to the Cunninghams? Not today. If they win, they stay at 1st place. If they lose, they stay at 1st place. That's how many league points they have. And we'll have the 2 team representatives ready for the face-off in just a little bit. This is going to be one uphill battle for Refuse to Die, Rookhill. We have to admit that. But FNATIC is not unstoppable, you could say.
I mean, they've got I think Refuse to Die has a chance. I believe.
The belief business.
I mean, it's hard. It's FNATIC. But, I mean, Refuse to Die, they surprise me sometimes.
Yeah, they are full surprises. Well, we're all very proud of them, seeing how far they've come from where they were multiple seasons ago, and the amount of obstacles that they overcame outside of the league in order to come back in. And it's good to have them here. And they are here. We have the team representatives ready to go from FNATIC and Refuse to Die. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I just want you guys to know that we heard everything you said before we went to you guys. That's how we were.
Awesome.
No way.
That makes it even better.
Yeah. The audience couldn't hear it, but we could hear it in our headsets. So it does. It does.
I'll save that for the future.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Don't. Now they know, Clutch. They know.
FNATIC last week, you know, it was quite a match between the Cunninghams. Jackie Rudo caught near the hill on Prokhorovka. I want to ask about that. The opening was completely different compared to what we've seen, you know, standard play of teams. What went wrong? What was the call?
Actually, I felt we were in perfect position to win that match. It was really just a lot of player error across the board. I don't think everybody was on the same page. Typically, the roles are kind of switched around between Jackie and Soviet in that situation, and they both handled it a little differently than the other one did. Honestly, it was just a throw on our part.
Okay.
I'm not saying that Cunninghams don't deserve it, don't get me wrong, because you still have to play well to take it, but on our part, that was just a complete cluster.
So after being down 0-2, a lot of teams not necessarily throw in the towel, but it's really tough for them to crack the defensive play that teams will bring if they're up 2-0. How did you turn it around? How did you crack the turtle shell on Ensk in particular?
Ensk, I feel, was a little bit of an error in judgment on their part. It looked to me like they were setting up a kind of a meta camp to try and handle the last time we broke that, and we just went a different path, and there was a lot of people in bad positions at that point in time. So that was largely a strategic error on their part more than fantastic play on our part, I feel. Cliff was just kind of a throw of the dice. We knew that if we brought 269s, they'd see a rush. We were hoping they would pick the wrong side, and we had to absolutely get it. So it was mostly just kind of like a desperation almost. I mean, we had to win them, so we were just playing them as best we could.
Let's check in with Refuse to Die. Garrett, a.k.a. Bag of Kittens. Abby, what happened?
Honestly, I think we had a couple guys that were separated. We usually try to run a battle buddy situation, so battle buddies that were normally together weren't together, and there was a little bit of panic. And Anubis and I, we didn't really count tanks effectively. Math is hard, okay? And so we came out into the open, and there's a tank to our right, which we weren't counting on. We were like, hey, let's go get this 90 or get these flank shots of these guys on the ramp. And then all of a sudden, we're sitting in the middle of, 4 tanks shooting at us, and that went south pretty fast, obviously. So I think all the way leading up to that error in just counting, really, and map awareness, Abby was ours. I think Abby was still ours. Even after that, there was just some more personal play after that caused us to drop it.
I'm sure you got an abacus or a calculator on the desk ready to help you out in case you need to make any fast calculations.
Yeah, I've got cashews. I'm gonna count them out on the desk and then maybe eat one.
What a tank balls. With any type of leadership, though, you have to make so many split-second decisions. So it's understandable when you kind of have to reevaluate what's going on, how many tanks are still there, did I overthink this? Anyways, what matters is what we see on the battlefield. So before we dismiss you two gentlemen, Refuse to Die, anything you'd like to say before we start?
David, it's a pleasure, as always, to get to fight you guys, because never once when we're in the Gold League do we ever get to be in opposite divisions of you guys. Not sure what's going on there, but I'm really disappointed. I was really hoping that you'd bring us to Abbey. You know, it's our best map. You guys are being the best team, so I thought maybe you guys would like a challenge, but apparently you're not into challenges, so better luck next season.
You know, you could have always picked that on that map you deferred, so
Yeah,
I guess the responsibility goes both ways.
Yeah.
Right back at you, though. It's been a pleasure to watch you guys develop and get better. The only thing I have other to say than that is, in case you're wondering what this is about, guys, G-Forcer has challenged me to grow this out until our match next week. So expect it to be like 7 inches long. I'm just telling you that.
I'm kind of jealous I can't see it right now.
It looks good. It looks good. All right, gentlemen.
Doesn't.
Good luck. It does on Skype, at least, from the distance where we can see you.
Good enough. I'll stop wasting your time.
Good enough for the internet. All right, we'll see you guys on the battlefield. Good luck.
All right, good luck.
Peace.
That's why we do face-offs. You get to see the personalities of these players, man. That was fun.
Oh man, we're gonna have to somehow find a way of filming the loser shaving their beard off.
Yeah, we did that for season 1.
Oh, dude,
It was Junior Nagatron.
Yes.
Yeah, they had to shave it. Let's take a look at those rosters for both these teams. No changes happened on FNATIC. Don't believe any. Well, not sure if there's any changes that happened to Refuse to Die. We'll have to check the records.
For Refuse to Die, I don't think.
Well, I'll talk about FNATIC real quick. You got to look out for Jackie Ruda's performance, doing so well. Now, they've been a switch up with Hugo Maximus since the beginning of the season. We used to see him in Tier 8s. Now he's in the T1s a lot of times. But look out for Jackie Ruda. Refuse to Die, what are the changes?
Yes, it's Kill Panic. They're adding and they removed Prodigal Penguin. So we'll see how Kill Panic shows up. Of course, he was on Simple Tankers in the past. There's a lot of pressure to perform, especially after being on a team like that. We'll see if they can play a little better today, especially since Kill Panic's spent his time fighting FNATIC in the past, should be able to have a different perspective, an interesting note to bring here and there.
Those are some of the individual members you can look out for in this best of 5. Rukil, what are your rules for victory for these teams?
All right, first rule is don't meta. Don't think it works for FNATIC, it just pisses them off. And, well, if they're pissed off, they're kind of motivated. If you ever learn that about an enemy, you know, you trash talk hard enough, you're going to get hit. And a little harder than usual. Rule number 2 is going to be exploit weaknesses. Even FNATIC will make some mistakes here and there. You have to find them and you have to exploit them. It's going to take a very quick reaction. Clutch was talking about a moment ago. You must react instantly. Any hesitation and that little window of opportunity will close. FNATIC will close up the gaps. There are moments when every team in transition is going to be weak. Find them, exploit them. Excuse me. Risk and reward is rule number 3. Now, I'd usually say take a risk and see a reward, but against FNATIC, you have to measure that incredibly well. Knowing when to take a risk, when to, and to measure what the reward will be, and then probably find the trade-off and find an incredibly advantageous one is your best bet. Taking too much risk and not getting enough reward for it, there's a lot of times where that will fail, and that's how the match will be thrown by Refuse to Die. If there's a chance to throw it, but there's also a chance to win it if they can measure it well.
There's always a chance. It's the biggest lesson you'll learn here when you watch the WGLNA. Battle number 1 between FNATIC and Refuse to Die is almost ready. Rukil, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have 2 Pershings, 2 69 and 2 1390s, along with 2 T1 Cunninghams. For FNATIC, Refuse to Die will bring an Object 416, a Pershing T69, 2 1390s, and a T1 Cunningham. 2 T1 Cunninghams. Why did I say 1? I have no idea.
Well, look at this Object 416. FNATIC, the profile low. I don't think he has any...
That's sometimes what happens with
camouflage on it.
They do. We just can't see it right now.
Oh, okay.
It's special.
I see.
Yeah.
Slovenian Kill Panic, Anubis, and Quasiar from Refuse to Die heading towards the west. World War II FNATIC hanging back, looking for a potential snipe shot. fires on the move. Bit of a warning shot to FNATIC to stay down as they move further to the west.
And now FNATIC will actually be taking up the train tracks, at least the west side of the train tracks. And they will be forced to move on over. Having given up the position of Echo 2 through Foxtrot 3, they will be forced to take the east. They have no position which is strong enough to deal with that. And it was actually a pretty strong flow into that position. 1390's Jackie and Soviet pulling on out. We've got Relics about to go down. Poor Relics. Gets tracked actually first. Miss. Another track. Another miss. Guys, seriously. Another miss. That is a lot of missed shells to kill a T1.
Slovenian gets shot.
That was interesting. I think they were just letting those shells go, but they're paying for it actually for not aiming well enough. I think that was Antonio Handsome getting that connection. Nice.
He is reloading.
Yes.
Since he's the only one reloading, I would venture yes is the correct answer.
I don't know.
Antonio Handsome.
Anything could happen.
No. There's certain fixed things in the universe, Rookhill, and that was fixed.
It's all relative, man. It's all in our heads. If you want to go down this line, I'll go.
No. Hired gun spotted. No, he's not. He's able to stay in the bush. Jackie Rudo's not able to see him yet. But one tank is spotted on the side of FNATIC, and that's Jackie Rudo. But who sees him?
I will not. I guess it's a T1. That would be hired gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Nice hired gun position. It's a little risky, though. He has no retreat pattern. He has nowhere
There is no retreat. There is no retreat here out of this position.
No. It doesn't work like that. He's very exposed. Blind fire could take him down if FNATIC feels like they want to, you know, play around with that concept. But otherwise, I think we might be about to see something from Refuse to Die. A blitz. And Soviet will spot it, take a little damage for it. There's a cover fire from World War II FNATIC, and I think Anubis. At the same time, Bag of Kittens is going to take a shell that's militant from the middle, using his tank expertly. And they're going to pay for that position, but not all that dearly. They're actually going to trade for that position and trade up. Soviet has taken more damage. And now the cap begins.
Bag of Kittens approaches the tracks. So does Soviet. Soviet sees, and Bag of Kittens misses a shot.
Ooh, he really needs those. Needs every shell he can. Needs every sliver of damage he can get out. And Soviet will try and get the spot. He does. And there's another miss from Bag of Kittens, and a miss from, I think, Anubis.
8 seconds left for the flag cap. Soviet tries to get it. He does. Beautiful play from Soviet.
What?
Bag of Kittens tries to stop him.
That RNG shot, he just let it go. Didn't even let it settle.
That's all he could do, and he was able to get it. Bag of Kittens falls. Nagatron takes down hired gun. Soviet with 1 shot left, going to go for another reset to allow enough time for the rest of his team to approach accordingly.
Now Nagatron will begin the counter cap, FNATIC getting their own cap pressure, and the counter push will come out of Refuse to Die as they're forced to get off the cap and begin a fight of their own.
Jackie Rudo, I think he hit the tracks on Anubis, so they didn't break. He's trying to take down Soviet. Jackie blocking him to the best of his ability, and he is able to block. One more shot, can he get it? He does block it. Anubis cannot get the kill against Soviet. Jackie Rudo, less than half health.
Good
but
team
his
play.
teammate's still alive. Super good team play.
Exactly what needs to happen. Now Soviet can actually get out a little damage here. He's on reload. Antonio Handsome, militant. Still a consistent fire tank is going to be able to punish everyone as the rest of FNATIC's actually reloading. Militant's the only hope to kind of hold off some of that damage. Friction should go down very shortly.
50 seconds on that flag cap. Antonio Handsome wins the trade against Slovenian. Now the 2 tanks in the distance to the west are under fire. World War II FNATIC falls back a bit. Jackie Rudo fires again. That's a southern shot. They take down Kill Panic.
And this is a great screen. 30 seconds left to stop the cap. Antonio is going to keep those 2 tier 8s at bay. They're not going to be able to do much of anything to stop this. Although Anubis may be able to make his way to the south, Antonio predicting that move could stop him. And with 17 seconds left, Antonio should be able to spot Anubis as he clears the middle of the map. So very close. And he's not lit. He's not
Spots Antonio.
And there he is. Anubis is lit. Antonio.
1 shot, and he dodges. Can he get the other one on the run? He gets hit. Militant wants it. Another
Next
shot.
base captured.
Base is captured. That's it. FNATIC takes battle number 1.
All right. Well,
Whoo! Soviet My goodness, you guys have got to watch this professional talk about specialist. Bag Kittens tried to block multiple times, and to his credit, was successful up until a couple seconds left. Soviet gets the shot. As you said, that RNG, it was almost a spray and pray, kind of a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
To get that shot.
That's a complete RNG shot. There's absolutely no doubt about it. He just let it go, and he just had to hope. That was all you could do in that situation, and lucky for him. Very lucky for him, he was able to make that shot count. Otherwise, I think FNATIC would have had to pay a lot more to get that shot. They could have gotten it from anyone else, probably up in that north middle area, but Soviet, at the very least, was able to spot it. Without him moving up and over and taking the risk of just dying in an instant, that game would have been lost. It was a smart move and a heads-up play at the very right time.
So where does Refuse to Die go from here? The next battle will take place on steps. FNATIC can play the 1 win and the 4 draws if they wish. However, that's not necessarily their style in the past, but they're a different team now. Not with rosters, but with attitude, with outlook, with goals. They were a pioneer, working so hard to change not only the viewpoint of World of Tanks overall with gamers, but also to kind of change what the meta was overall, as these teams wanted to be more aggressive. Not only to show off the power of their tanks, but to show off the fun of watching these matches compared to draw fests that were occurring in different areas of the world. FNATIC wanted to be one of those leaders, but unfortunately they got so caught up in trying to be the best, not only players, but showmen, that they lost in Season 3 against Simp, and then afterwards at the Global Grand Finals.
Yeah, I still think that a highly aggressive play style is theoretically one of the best. That theoretically playing the passive game, reactive game, is actually going to, at the very theoretically highest level, which hasn't really been achieved yet, I think, in World of Tanks, there's always room to grow. There's always a ceiling which hasn't been touched. That we will see highly aggressive teams start to win more and more as they understand, I get better at reacting, I get better at setting tempo, I get better at understanding my opponent and reading them and then exploiting them. It's a gradual thing, which the Russians seem to get pretty well. Except a lot of times you find them playing perfect defenses against each other.
They plateau. They plateau on the defense a lot.
From time to time, but then you do see these cool matches where it's 2 minutes of reading your opponent, rest of it's just fight.
Yep. Here we go, battle number 2 between Refuse to Die and FNATIC. FNATIC is up 1-0. Let's take a look at those tanks.
All right, we have a Pershing, 2 T-69s, 2 1390s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams for the side of FNATIC. Refuse to Die will be bringing a Pershing, T-69, 2 1390s, 3 1390s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams. Wow, counting is hard.
In the south is the blue team, Refuse to Die. In the north, the red team, FNATIC. Both teams heading towards the west. Usually the northern team will vie for the Eastern Valley. Play more defensive. And
we're going to have an engagement I don't think either team is going to expect. Soviet, though, is in a beautiful spotting position. Spots Anubis. Does not spot World War II FNATIC. Kill Panic will be crossing very soon in a T-69. Oh, wait. No, he's not. They're going to hold back. They recognize that Anubis was spotted. They need to rethink this plan and try and not expose themselves too much. If you get more than 1 tank spotted going out there, that is a huge indicator, but only 1 is just a scout.
Slovenian scanning left and right.
And now 2 tanks spotted going back, Anubis and World War II FNATIC.
Soviet is spotted from a distance. Slovenian fires, does not get the shot.
And Friction is blind firing off into the distance, looking for a tank, and he actually finds Kill Panic.
And he gets it. Double volley for 503.
Wow. That is nice shot. Kill Panic not quite in the right spot, exposed a little bit too much. Yep. Slovenian as well was spotted for a moment, but he did back off, taking no damage.
Kill Panic, his T-69 tank viewfinder got damaged. They're able to repair it. He did not use a repair kit because it took some time, but that could prove to be a factor later with the view range.
It may just, but they do have some exceptional crew skills, which means that even with damaged optics, they're still going to perform rather well. You actually get a little boost. Every single tank and every single crew have every single skill that they could possibly have. 100% camo, repairs, all of the perks, everything. So if there's something a commander can have, he's got it. If there's something a gunner should have, he's got it for these pros.
The resets happening from both teams. Refuse to Die now heading towards the valley in the northeast. And they're not looking for crab cakes. They're ready to shoot any tanks popping out from FNATIC.
Crab cakes, Josh?
Shout out to Maine, to our audience, especially Waffles.
You have a crush on him, don't you? A man crush, a bro crush.
He is quite the bro.
I heard about you, too. A little jealous.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Had a lot of
Don't try
fun
and
in
hide it.
Vegas.
Yeah.
And it was a great time in Season 2. He was also our showman of the season. It was neat to see one of the tank personalities being highlighted in a way where, you know, he helped host the program, so it was fun.
All right, now we've got a push actually coming out of FNATIC. Friction will be crossing over first, followed Militant, Antonio Handsome, Jackie Rudo. They will find Hired Gun, I expect, in just a moment, and yes, he actually finds them. And it's going to be able to back off. He will die. Away to Jackie. Jackie missing the shot on the move. Kind of taking that risk. He does not recognize, I think, what he is wasting right now. He's wasted 3 shells, and his opponent is just about 100 meters away.
It's going for the reload. Anubis, Slovenian, and Kill Panic. Ooh, shot from Antonio Handsome to keep Kill Panic down. Antonio's going to reload as well.
Those pressing fire. And Soviet will be joining the group. Once that happens, I expect FNATIC to make a move. Soviet might try to move along the 6th line. With him, Jackie Rudo. And between the two of them, they may find a bag of kittens and be able to take him out. That'll be a 2v1 there. Hopefully, Refuse to Die can recognize it. And if they do, they can react properly and use their overmatch to push on the main group. Those 1390s, though. If Soviet and Jackie waste too many shells, that will be the loss. And actually, it doesn't look like they're going to go for the flank quite yet. I think they're holding off because Soviet was spotted. Which, if both teams know what they're doing right now and are really thinking hard, they'll recognize they're squared off against each other, and one is going to try to overmatch the other. And they need to figure out the overmatch, or at least match it so that you have an even fight, and hopefully you can outplay your opponent. And with that, what's World War II FNATIC going to be doing?
Checking in with him.
You're on him. What's he up to
I'm waiting to see if he's going to fully commit.
Oh, is he gonna?
And he fires. Fires again and misses.
No.
That's what he was looking for, is an opening to go up against FNATIC on the side. Can't get it. Now he's going to move towards Bag of Kittens or Quasiar as they are scouting ahead.
And now is Refuse to Die is giving ground. That's interesting. They're going to be backing off.
Oh, for now.
Okay.
Still plenty of time. 4 minutes, 51 seconds. Megatron will be spotted. World War II FNATIC looks like he can go for the ram damage for the kill there. Relics to the south. They notice that they're moving their light tanks over towards the No Man's Road, and FNATIC will jump on that opportunity. They're now taking the northern section of the valley.
All right, smart move. Smart move. They're going to have to get a bag of kittens out, though, because he is rather exposed, and I think he's being jumped on. Jackie Rudo has found a bag of kittens. Missing a few shots, swinging around. It actually gets himself hit. Will there be cover fire, though? A little bit from World War II FNATIC, and Anubis is coming to back up, but Kill Panic is incredibly low, and backup from Soviet is arriving soon.
Notice that FNATIC does not completely square themselves around Bag of Kittens to get the kill. They did a couple shots, then they backed up because they knew Refuse to Die would be moving in to help a Bag of Kittens. They didn't take any unnecessary damage. Will it pay off in the end? It's going to depend on which tanks they can kill first. Antonio Handsome gets hit. Slovenian's super low.
Oh, a bounce from Friction. Militant should be able to finish him off. One last shelf. Bounces
Another bounce.
Friction. Blocking the perfect shot. Friction's able to get it, though. And now Soviet is going to be chased away by Anubis because a bag of kittens has gone down as well. Does not have enough shells to deal with that. Elsewhere, Quasiar and Relic squaring off as T1s.
2 tier 8s and a T1. Quasiar with 4 HP. Relics lining up the shot.
It's one way to do it, Quasiar. It's one way to do it.
Could go for the ram damage. Relics ready, and I think he ammo-racked him. That's why his reload is so long. Relics gets the kill. World War II FNATIC and Anubis, battle buddies right now, working together, get away from FNATIC to try to survive this match to bring it to a draw. Not the case, though.
Now Anubis and World War II FNATIC trying to move out. They might be able to stop the cap, but just look at it. FNATIC has spread their health so exceptionally well. Everyone's taken 1 or 2 shells here or there, but they picked off the right tanks at the right time, and they were fortunate in that they were able to put a little free damage onto Kill Panic and onto a bag of kittens. Don't know how that reflects on Kill Panic, but he got messed up, especially early in the battle, without being able to apply any real damage.
And the flag cap from FNATIC brings them 2-0 over Bernal Empires. As we move on to battle number 3.
All right.
Have some time to select their tanks, about 60 seconds. A little bit of time for them to decompress a bit after that battle as well. Refuse to Die is in a tough place.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough match for them.
I'm really worried for him, man. I don't think that they're making the final decision. It seems like they've got a lot of the setup.
Yes.
There's most of the information there that they need to recognize, but I'm not sure Bag of Kittens is willing to pull the trigger. And I talked about the risk reward early on, which it's risky to try and push when you don't have a clear advantage, no hit points in your way. You don't have any kind of a special surprise for your opponent that you can't make them take on 2 objectives. You haven't taken out their T1s. It's difficult. FNATIC has given them a difficult situation to try and solve, but I just can't. And FNATIC is able to take the tempo and then push on over with that.
Kittens from Refuse to Die is called a timeout. They'll have 60 seconds added on, and I'm sure in that deliberation they're going to figure out what they can do on Himmelsdorf to put a point on the board. If there's one map that they could do it in historical records when it comes to FNATIC, this is the map they've lost the most on, or one of the maps. And the very rare occasions that they have lost battles. What they could do, perhaps play some sort of strategy so unexpected they can catch FNATIC off guard and perhaps get a win. But this is that up against the ropes type stress that, you know, forsaking all that thought, all that planning, and going for something that seems, why not, let's just do it and see if it works. That's hold my beer tactics that the Googly Bobbers are so good at, and Refuse to Die may need a 6-pack or 2 of some hold my beer tactics tonight against FNATIC.
I mean, they're going to have to ask everyone to come on out to hold him for him. That's a lot of beer to hold. And yeah, it might take something crazy, but it also could just be something really well measured, especially because I believe FNATIC spawns in the north and Bag of Kittens and Refuse to Die will be in the south.
They will.
There's some potential for mid-play, 8-line pushes, hill play as well. That sneaky hill play could be just enough to do it, especially if FNATIC decides to send someone to the hill. But if FNATIC decides, let's play the west, that hill play is going to completely be nullified. Well,
that Simp versus RBIS matchup on the hill was quite fun to watch since the overmatch happened of 5-4. Simp committed all of their tanks, all their tier 8s at the top of the hill. RBIS kept one of their tier 8s down below. And in the end, Simp completely overmatched him and got that victory. Very rare to see all tier 5s go all the way up on the hill. That's the type of changes, adjustments, and surprises that these best teams out of all 16 teams in the Gold League are bringing to make it to the top. So Refuse to Die is going to have to do something similar, but within their own style. And that may come down to the tank choices. Real Kill, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams for the side of FNATIC. On the side of Refuse to Die, we have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams.
That is our first mirror matchup of the night.
Time to roll out.
The next one, I'm sure we'll celebrate a little bit more.
All right, and for opening moves, looks like FNATIC is going to go to that west side. And if Refuse to Die decides to take the hill, we could see a lot of trouble for them, spelling perhaps defeat. But right now, it looks like a very solid split from Refuse to Die, taking up the various positions. And actually, we are going to see a little hill play. Slovenian and Quasiar, along with maybe Anubis, might go up to the hill. Yeah, that might not be too good, especially if FNATIC decides to push. But this opening move does appear defensive.
Really like the scouting coming from Relics here. And Nagatron falls, so Relics is the remaining T1.
Where did he get himself killed? Wasn't even able to find him.
Let's Kill Panic and Roller 2 FNATIC. We'll dance a little bit across the golf line. So they wait for FNATIC to perhaps push, perhaps move towards the east and use Tank Alley, or stay in their position and wait for Refuse to Die to come to them. Because one draw here would make it into a must-win possibility for Refuse to Die and the final 2 battles in order to take it to a tiebreaker.
Okay, I found it.
Refuse to Die entered into a tiebreaker against... Oh, it wasn't Hammer Time because that was up against Bernal Empires in Hammer Time. Kill Panic still waiting in this position. Anubis and Slovenian. Halfway up the hill, waiting for Quasar to spot anything. He will see nothing up there. FNATIC hanging back.
They haven't sent anything to the hill. Not even relics. Relics will be actually making his way back towards the 1 line, where I believe he will begin to push his way down or find a happy little bush. Hey, it's going to be a happy little bush. This side's never mind. Let's go kill things.
We see a bag of kittens, 5100. Waiting next to his flag in a defensive position. Friction is spotted, so is Kill Panic. He's going to back out from the window position. And World War II FNATIC will stay in a reverse angle, looking towards potential aggression coming from FNATIC on the west side. That's the last amount of information they had. The last bit of information they had was this area on FNATIC, and now they see friction again in that IS-3. Slovenian and Anubis still holding tight. Quasar inching his way closer and closer to the edge of the hill, right at the edge before it steeps down and to the left into FNATIC's position. Quasar could decide to move even closer, hopefully waiting to get that 50-meter scouting for possibly any tank around the corner before he dies to get a better intel package, you could say, from the T1s.
Package.
Intel package.
It's with a little bow and everything on
exactly.
top?
Like, here you guys go. This was worth my life.
That's morbid, Josh.
He's going to hold this position in the corner.
All right.
I was trying to flower, flower it up a little bit to what he was doing. It's because scouting is sometimes not fully appreciated by people.
All right, well, let's explore the options for Refuse to Die. They have some tanks on the hill. It looks like we're actually going to see a move towards the east now. Actually, this T1 and this T8 moving on up real quick. And that could spell, actually, it's going to be towards the hill. And we're going to have 3 tanks on the hill, spelling that perhaps we're going to see some kind of backfield play, wherein we'll see a blitz onto cap, or perhaps an around towards the cap. And with that, we may see the T8s retreat back, join the rest of them, and move from this west side into east side control. And instead of trying to approach from the south, because that is a no-no, it's bad, don't do that. No, don't do the south. They'll try from the east instead. But let's get back to the game.
Anubis and Slovenian still sticking in the same position here. Quasar not moving from that corner yet. But he's doing a good job playing the guard dog. Bag of Kittens will be joining him, as you mentioned, Rookkill, sending a couple more tanks up to the top of the hill. Hey, if we can take the higher ground, let's take it. Yep. But at what cost? Because here's what can happen. FNATIC can recognize that. They scout one of the tanks.
They know it's not.
They scout one of the tanks moving from that area, and they decide to push south. However, both
Sick
teams.
blind fire.
Ooh, wow.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Jackie's just firing at the hill. He's just going right at all of... I did not even... Wow.
Yeah, you can see some of those shots coming in our picture-in-picture. Landed just above Bag of Kittens. But now here's a push coming from Refuse to Die. This is an all-in, possibly, coming out from the team that's down 0-2 against FNATIC.
Interesting timing, actually.
4 minutes and 18 seconds. Plenty of time for them to keep the firefight going in the brawl mode, but to send their T1s back for the draw in case everything goes south.
They'll find Militant 83 first. He is somewhat ready in his IS-3. Everyone else is not. Jackie's back. halfway through his reload, which means that, and there's the first spot. Quasar is lit. Militant is lit. World War II Fnatic getting very close to a corner. And that might actually start it off. And there's the light. Anubis taking fire, is tracked in the open. Beautiful shots by Fnatic. They are setting up the defense, and Bag of Kittens is crossing with Slovenian to try and get it to better cover. Anubis will probably go down from this.
He's getting shot up, but his tracks are trying to absorb more and more damage. Nice shot to the front. Anubis, can he hold on much longer? He fires back in retaliation, trying to empty his clip. He has 5 shots left. He needs to deal that damage as fast as possible before he goes down. But he is using the cover of his battle buddy Bag of Kittens, but Antonio Handsome gets the kill.
Beautiful shot.
12 seconds left. Bag of Kittens still trying to screen here. Big bounce coming off of Bag of Kittens.
Here comes Jackie. He doesn't even care anymore. And he's just going to go right on in full health, 5100. Just trying to take every hit he can. Just get in here and reset. Can anybody stop him? World War II Fnatic can. And now Friction coming from behind will be able to reset things. Beautiful position from that IS-3.
And one of the T1s, Relics, now in the south on the opposite flag cap. Friction needs a reset. He gets it.
He's going to get tracked out in the open. Unlucky shot from World War II Fnatic, and he's exposed himself too much. Crossfire from Soviet is sufficient to get the kill.
Kill panic under heavy duress from Antonio Handsome and Soviet. Friction rounding the corner. Takes out a Bag of Kittens. Slovenian right next to him is in his sights next. Still on the reload. Friction will get 1 shot in before Slovenian has all 6. Friction has got to try to stop or keep Slovenian engaged in this. But here comes Antonio Handsome with full rounds, full shells, gets the shot, gets the kill. Fnatic gets the win. 3-0 against Refuse to Die.
Well played.
Well played.
Yep. Refuse to Die went for something. They knew they had to get it. Fnatic went for the obvious play. Play defensive. You've got the north side of Himmelsdorf. What are you going to do? How are you going to attack me? It's incredibly difficult against a team like Fnatic who knows the reaction. You saw Friction, right? Going around through the south, coming back around on the eastern side of their cap, creating a beautiful crossfire. Very well executed. And they were able to defend the cap. Almost every angle was covered, and when something came out to try and mess with Friction, Soviet was right there to put one in the back of his turret. Everything went right.
Let's take a look at the damage being dealt by Fnatic in that series. Antonio Handsome was 8 for 9. He did 1,862 damage. Above him, Soviet, 11 for 12. 2,318 damage. Just below that, Friction, 4 for 14. That consistent fire across the courtyard is why there were so many missed shots, but it's suppressing fire, 1,128 damage. Relics, good spotting. Good spotting,
job,
Relics. Jackie Rudo, 3 for 16. He was more of a body blocker, pushing in and focusing the damage on him, allowing Friction to move behind, get an awesome shot in the weakest point of the enemy tank, and for the rest of Fnatic to continue the firefight with the 5100s.
Yeah, Jackie.
A little scared for Jackie.
Just
for a
go,
bit.
Jackie, go! And he's just like, ah!
Why me? Why me? Why not you? 842 damage.
Yeah.
Just sometimes you have to be that sacrificial tank. you have to be the bodyguard.
5100 doing it is strange though.
Well, it gets in there. IS-3 is fast, but 5100 can get there just a little bit quicker with thinner armor. That's the trade-off. That's the trade-off.
Fair enough.
That's a trade-off. Were you surprised at all by some of the things that Refuse to Die was bringing to this matchup? I was a little surprised to see them attack this way in terms of tactical superiority. They didn't have it. But when it comes to the attitude of Refuse to Die, it's that acceptance of, hey, listen, they're up 2-0. Let's go for an attack. Why try to draw this out? We're Refuse to Die, not, and we also refuse to draw.
Yes, fair enough. No draws. They went for it every time. They just weren't able to get an advantage. That was it. Fnatic got the advantage every time. Then they exploited it. Refuse to Die tried, but Fnatic just seemed to be there at every single turn, knowing what to do, having the answer a little bit quicker, and just a little bit stronger than Refuse to Die was on every single map. Just a little outplayed every single place.
Well, 3-0 brings us to our next matchup, which will be the Cunninghams versus Gong Fu. We want to hear from you on Twitter. Let us know at WGLNA. We'll answer some of you guys' questions. Maybe post a couple tweets or two after this. Stay tuned.